Comparing your home phone options is a good idea, especially when you can choose between Revvo's home phone and BTC's home phone service. With Revvo's, you get more than 20 free calling features, unlimited local calls, and unlimited calls to any Revvo's customer anywhere. All this for just $9.99 a month. And now, we're proud to introduce our Bahamaland Unlimited Nationwide Calling Plan. You can call any phone on any island at any time for just $5 a month. BTC charges $16.25 for their bare bones home phone service. Plus, you would spend $9 to get the 3 most popular calling features, and another $33 to get some of the other calling features Revvo's gives you for free. When you add it all up, it's pretty clear why there really is no other choice. Revvo's gives you more minutes, more coverage, more calling features, and free installation. All of this for less money. And for a limited time, you can get Revvo's installed in your house for free and save over $200 a year. So, if you're choosing a home phone service, choose Revvo's, the better choice.
The Prime Minister comments on the controversy surrounding the brief detainment of an offshore banker during an immigration roadblock.
We must learn from what has taken place.
Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell says all procedures were followed. A Fox Hill shooting survivor on the road to recovery.
It's a life-changing experience.
Plus contract signed to reform the air transport sector. Those stories and more coming up. I'm Nikia DeVoe, and this is NV12. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us here at Cable 12 Studios. Here are the stories coming out of the NB12 newsroom this Friday evening. The detainment of an offshore banking official at the Carmichael Road Detention Center and a subsequent apology from a government minister have sparked widespread criticism and discussion over the actions of immigration officers. Today, Prime Minister Perry Christie commented on the controversy. Dana Smith has more in this report.
Christie refused to, quote, enter the fray, but speaking generally, he said if someone is unfairly treated by immigration officials, regardless of nationality, that person deserves an apology.
There is absolutely no doubt that the government should be as aggrieved about a European person being unfairly dealt with, if they were unfairly dealt with, as a Cuban being unfairly dealt with, as a Haitian being unfairly dealt with. And if they are unfairly dealt with, everyone who's unfairly dealt with is owed an apology, right? But with respect to this particular incident, the Prime Minister awaits a report.
On Tuesday, Emmanuel Foe, the executive director of UBS Bahamas, was held at the Carmichael Road Detention Center after he was stopped at an immigration roadblock. According to reports, officials asked Foe to provide proof of legal residency, but Foe did not have his documents with him and subsequently was taken into custody. Offshore banking representatives held an emergency meeting with the Prime Minister on Wednesday, calling for the government to take a more sensitive approach, and Financial Services Minister Ryan Pinder has since apologized to Foe. Both that meeting and the apology have drawn criticism. Meanwhile, both Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell and Immigration Director William Pratt have defended the actions of the immigration officials. Today, Christie responded to the criticism.
It is what it is, okay? One minister did an apology, and another minister supported his staff. We, any one of us here, do not know the facts. The ministers have not had time to even report to us. And so why should I now enter the fray, okay, so that the Prime Minister gives a third position?
Among those leveling criticism at the government over the incident is F&M Chairman Darren Cash. He said today Pinder's decision to apologize was both disgraceful and sickening.
The minister decided to drop whatever it was he was doing, traipse down to the bank where the gentleman worked, and apologize. We are yet to know what it is he felt compelled to apologize for. The department enforced the law, and that is a good thing. It is not clear why Minister Pinder believed he needed to apologize.
Cash also took issue with the Prime Minister's meeting with banking representatives. Speaking generally about the issue of roadblocks, he questioned if the Prime Minister assured in that meeting that economic status and nationality play a role in whether or not a person is taken into custody.
Meet with them to do what? To assure them that if you are rich, of European descent, and dressed well, and are stopped at a roadblock and say simply that you are on work permit, you get a free get out of the detention center pass. But if you are of African descent, if you speak with a Caribbean accent and may not be dressed appropriately, that it's off to the detention center you go. Is that what the Prime Minister sought to assure those persons?
However, the Prime Minister has assured that's not the case. Noting Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell has since defended the actions of the immigration officials, Cash praised Mitchell for his stance.
Once in a long while, we are able to say that we agree with the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Immigration, Fred Mitchell.
Reporting for NB12, I'm Dana Smith.
Well, Foreign Affairs and Immigration Minister Fred Mitchell would not comment directly on the matter involving the bank executive, but he did defend immigration officers in the execution of their duties. Mitchell told NB12 today that as far as he knows, immigration officers followed all legal procedures.
I don't comment on any of these reports in the newspapers about any specific individual who has a particular complaint. There's a system for dealing with that. If there's a complaint about something that happened, then you make a complaint to the Director of Immigration. I checked today, no complaint has been made. There's nothing which has come to my attention within the last week or so which indicates that immigration officers did anything which is ultra-virus the law. And the conduct which they carried out, the checks, were done in accordance with the law.
Well, many Bahamians took to social media and even called into our newsroom following the reports to voice their disappointment that the government would even consider apologizing to the banker. Some people questioned if the government also apologized to other people from various nationalities who have legal status but have been detained over the years. According to the Director of Immigration, William Pratt, more than 40 non-Bahamians who were in the country legally were detained in Tuesday's exercise because they did not have their documents on them. Well, we asked Mitchell if he thinks the Immigration Department or the central government should apologize to any of them. Here's what he had to say.
Well, I'm not sure where the issue of apology comes in. Apology is a legal position, and that's for the lawyers. The Department of Immigration carries out its job, its functions. If people think that there are faults carried out on their part or some action taken which is unlawful, there's a remedy for that, and then there's a mechanism for settling it if it turns out that that's in fact the case. Newspapers can print whatever they wish. I mean, they're in the business of selling news. I'm trying to be more generic with this and say again that immigration officers are instructed and trained to carry out their jobs in a particular way. I'm satisfied that they know their jobs and they carry out those jobs to the best of their ability.
Pratt said yesterday the detainment of the banking executive will not cause the Department of Immigration to alter its practices in future roadblocks and spot checks. Mitchell asked members of the public to be patient and respectful to immigration officers.
The officers are trained to be respectful, and we expect citizens to be respectful, not abusive, not using insulting language. It isn't necessary because the thing only takes a couple of minutes, and usually you're on your way. But the public is also agitated over the question of unlawful entry into the country. And this is one of the more benign ways that we can deal with it. So I'm just urging the public generally to be patient and understanding of the situation, bearing in mind what we're trying to accomplish.
Now, the immigration director maintains that the banker was treated the same as others who were detained. In other news, as several members of the Organization of American States call for the abolition of the death penalty throughout the Western Hemisphere, Bahamas ambassador to the OAS, Dr. Elliston Ramming, indicating that the Bahamas plans to retain the death penalty. Raming told the OAS Permanent Council that the Bahamas is a retentionist country, and there is no evidence of that changing anytime soon. He said members of the public want the death penalty, and they want it now. Raming noted that the Caribbean has one of the highest murder rates in the world on a per capita basis. He said the Bahamas is in a quandary on the issue. He told other OAS members that there is an ascending public outcry for the immediate relief from the scourge of murder that has caused widespread fear among Bahamians. Now, Mexico is pushing to have the death penalty abolished. Several Latin American countries, as well as the European Union's permanent observers to the OAS, supported the position. However, the United States ambassador stressed that the death penalty does not contravene international law. Meantime, Jamaica's ambassador said that country will also retain the death penalty. The Prime Minister says an announcement on the future of the Bahamas Telecommunications Company will come following a final cabinet meeting on the issue set for Tuesday. Christie had planned to make an announcement on BTC at the end of 2013, but it was delayed following the mass shooting in Fox Hill on December 27th. Christie said today a final settlement has been discussed.
I met on Tuesday, late Tuesday afternoon, with the new president and the president of Lime, Cable and Wireless Jamaican Property, and it was really a get-to-know-you courtesy, but we discussed the final settlement, and let me say, one way or the other, the cabinet will hear from me on Tuesday next, and it will never be a subject again for the cabinet of the Bahamas after Tuesday next.
The Prime Minister said an announcement will be made on the issue after that cabinet meeting.